back in the wife's White Claws. Need something to drink? Gonna go ahead and jack the wife's White Claws. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Whatever time you're watching this, as always, thanks for watching Common Sense Fishing. So I've been gone for about 2 weeks. No live streams or anything. And I've uploaded a couple of videos, but I've got a couple more good ones coming. I've just got to edit those and get those out. But it's been a rough couple of weeks. We're going to go over that tonight, explain everything, let you guys know what's going on. As you could tell by the title, my daughter, we thought she might have cancer. The doctor thought so too, or possibility. And so, um, we had to go do some testing, blood work, and then a mammogram and have some scans done. Preliminary stuff, nothing too crazy yet. And thank God so far everything's came back good. So it's been a stressful couple weeks. As soon as you think that that's a possibility that your kid might have cancer or something, it doesn't leave you feeling very good. So a lot of stress. I've been working, been doing all this and that. So I just haven't been really wanting to get online and do any videos because I've been worried about my daughter, and just it was scary. So I'm glad to have that little issue behind us for now, and we'll keep an eye on everything, make sure that nothing else shows up. But ARC Creative, nice to see you on tonight. Yeah, so it's been a tough one, but thank God the news is good. Just 2 weeks of like nail biting, intense waiting on results and waiting on more information. It's just been a tough 2 weeks. And also, I do heating and air, so I've been out fixing air conditioners, just trying to keep my mind off of things. But now that I got the good news, I'm super excited. So I'm going to get back out there. I did 2 fishing trips, so I took a viewer out to the California Delta and went out there and put them on some fish. They caught a couple. It was real tough, but I got I did all right, but um, probably 12 pounds or so for our best five, um, maybe even a little more. So we did all right at the end of the day. She got like a 2.5, almost a 3 pounder. I got a couple that were in the three range and some 2.5s, but nothing over that. So no big monsters came out to play, but I've got another Delta breakdown video coming, and then night fishing and low light conditions at Don Pedro. We're throwing jigs and stuff like that. I was using crankbaits and all kinds of stuff, but in the back of the boat. And then I'm only I'm just the back of the boat fisherman sometimes if it's not my boat, and I don't boss or try to tell people how to fish. I just make do with what's going on, and I usually will get up real shallow and parallel and throw crankbaits and spinner baits. And then when I decide I want to throw jigs, I'll pull out a little bit and I'll throw jigs. But the way that we were fishing, the angles weren't quite right for crankbaits. He gave me some good opportunities to throw some crankbaits, and I threw them when I had the chance. Yeah, good news. So I'm excited about that. Now I can move on and start getting back to making videos and going fishing. So it's just 2 weeks. I didn't want to do anything. I was just kind of like depressed, just sitting around working to make money. And I'm just trying not to think, even just trying to keep my brain blah. So, so I wouldn't be negative or upset or treat people bad, or be snappy or short. So I tried to keep my fuse as cool as possible just by just kind of taking myself out the game, so to speak, for a minute. Um, so like I said, good news. She doesn't have cancer, so I'm excited now. But like I said, we did 2 trips, one out the Delta, one out at Don Pedro. We stuck some good fish at the Delta, some decent ones, anyways. 3 pounders, nothing over that. Same thing at Pedro. We caught a couple that were about almost 3 pounds or so, probably 11, 12 pounds for our best five fish at Pedro. Um, we caught numbers too. There was probably 25, 30 fish caught in a short span, just tossing jigs and stuff. Guy who was with me was throwing a couple other things. I probably caught most of the fish at the Pedro trip, and caught almost all the fish at the Delta trip. But I kind of had a semi-inexperienced angler with me who, they were all right. They've caught big fish before. They've caught fish. They've been fishing a while, but just not that good at it. And dead set. They were dead set on trying to throw that crankbait. So they swapped between the spinner bait and a um, chatterbait and a couple other lures, but they're just not familiar or comfortable working in weeds. I think that's one of the biggest challenges of the Delta is anglers figuring out how to and what to do when you get weeds on your bait and how to like navigate them. So I think I'm going to do a video on that next, talking about the simple mechanics of fishing in the weeds. So, but yeah, she caught some fish. We had fun. So I'm back, everybody. Thanks for watching. Super excited. We're going to be having, hopefully, the meet and greet's going to be the 9th. I might have to move it one more week to the 16th, unless you guys are cool with the Sunday, because my kids are going for the first time. I could never afford to pay for it, but this year I paid for my kids to go to a private summer camp that is just really badass. It was one that I went to as a kid, and it's called Camp Jack Hazard, where they do horseback riding, archery. They're there like almost 2 weeks. They go on wilderness hikes. They do all kinds of crazy stuff. And when I say hike, I'm talking like a 10-mile hike. Like they just book it off up into the mountains, and they take their little sleeping bags and tents with, or not even tents. They take sleeping bags and stuff with them. And they sleep right on the ground. All right, RC, we see you when you get back. Appreciate you jumping on tonight. So, you know, I was just so happy to be able to send my kids to summer camp this year. So they're going to be going. I got to take them the 9th. So July 9th at like 8 in the morning, I got to get them out to Modesto. I might still be able to just hold it on the 9th and make it out to the lake around noon. But then as soon as I get there, I'll basically be cooking and a slave, and it'll be everything will be kind of rushed. And I would rather make some really good food, take my time, do some fishing, get to hang out with everybody, talk fishing. We can all BS, and I'm thinking that everybody get a chance to do some fishing on the lake for 4 or 5 hours, and then meet up and talk about the fishing, where people caught, what they caught on, stuff like that, and have a nice barbecue. We're gonna have some games and prizes, casting contests, stuff like that. We're gonna have a couple other fun things set up, and some cornhole stuff like that. Just some good old fun. Hey, Mad Bess. So we're gonna have some good old fashioned fun. Um, I'm really looking forward to it, and I want to put something decent on for you guys and gals. So we're gonna have some tri-tips, ribs, stuff like that. So I don't want to rush it. So that's why it had to get moved. But like I said, it might have to get moved again into the 16th, because the 9th I'm taking my kids to camp. So we'll have a little questionnaire about that, see what everybody feels, or maybe even holding it on a Sunday. I just want as many people to come as possible, so I want to try to work around everyone's schedule. Um, and I wanted to get past all these damn holidays. And I would do it next week before it gets into July, but we got my son's birthdays coming up next week. And then the next week after that is the 4th of July weekend. So it's like, oh, like, damn it. But like I said, got a couple fishing videos out. I've got a couple coming up, Delta and uh, Don Pedro. And then after that, I'm probably going to get out this weekend, Sunday. So I'll probably take my son fishing. My two boys, they'll have a birthday party coming up. That'll be Saturday. So I'm probably going to take them out fishing, and we'll do a video, release that. So we'll have 3 or 4 videos coming out here. I've got 2 I've got to edit, and we'll get them out for you guys. But just really happy to be back, sitting in the chair, hanging out with you guys, talking fishing. I know it's been 2 weeks, so I probably lost a lot of, as far as like, not lost them for good, but just After 2 weeks of, hey, he's not on, people just stop checking their notifications probably, or YouTube, the algorithm may punish me a bit for that. So we'll get back up there. We'll start getting a bunch of people in these live streams before long. Probably be just a couple more trips back on, and we'll be back up to the usual numbers of 10 or 15 people. Sometimes we get like 20 or 30 on, but we're growing. We're the channel's growing. We're about to have a big milestone for the member or members for the subscribers. So we're gonna have another giveaway coming soon. Um, I think we've got to have the June giveaway, members giveaway will be coming up. It's just a lot to catch up after 2 weeks of being off. So, but I'll tell you what, I mean, I've got some great fishing tips and tricks, or at least just some good fishing information right now. The reports as far as the delta's been pretty good actually. I've heard people say that it's been tough, but I've been doing pretty good with reaction and throwing top water crankbaits. And then when the tide goes slack, so Delta, I should make a whole little video on that. It's adjusting to the tides. A lot of people, well, specifically this person I took, and others have asked me about tides and current and like this and that. And I'm like, look, that delta is filled with fish. There are a lot of fish that move with the tide for sure. But there'll be fish when low tide bottoms out, they're still there. They didn't leave, they didn't go with the tide, they just stayed right there. They just move, right? They don't necessarily go 200 miles, from or 100 and something miles from over here to over here in one day, and then over here all the way back the next. So there are some to tide and move with it. But what I like to do is just say you got to figure out how to fish the delta in all conditions: low tide, slack tide, high tide, moving tide. And moving tide and high tide have always been the best for reaction for me. But sometimes low tide can be good for reaction if you just go and move to the outside weed edge. So move to where the all the weeds drop off, and fish will hang in that edge right there. It's really quite simple, actually. It's just and then fishing points, basically finding anything that creates a point that current is going to break across it, and there's probably going to be a fish there, whether it's a big one or a little one. You just got to keep covering water. And then when you come across a plain shoreline, you can fish it, or you can move right past it and you can point hop. And there'll be areas in the delta where there'll be Thule islands and canals that intersect and cross and all kinds of crazy crap. And all you really want to do is fish the points of the Thule islands, fish the points of the sloughs and channels where they intersect and cross. The points basically hold all of the fish at the delta. And when I say the point, anything that sticks out enough to create a current break, sit right there, and as the current moves, and boom, come in and out. It's really not that hard. Oh man, they fixed the road to Eastman 55 almost all the way. Heck yeah. So I gotta go do an Eastman trip. I've been waiting on doing another Eastman trip soon. Someone posted a video or a photo of like an 8+ caught at the dam. Looked really nice. Maybe 6 or 7, but it looked like 8 or 9 to me. Really nice big old bass out at Eastman. One thing about Eastman is if you want to go, there's a lot of big fish at night at Eastman, and an easy way to get them is a crankbait. And one of the best ways to smack some big fish at Eastman at night is to take a crankbait or a spinnerbait and get up shallow and run it right along the submerged grass, usually, and all the rocks and trees and stuff. Another thing would be a spinnerbait if I didn't, or a Kitech too. Um, didn't have much luck Friday. Well, one thing I find at Eastman that happens right around this time is the baby bass in the lake should all be like 2-3 inches right now. And one of the biggest paces they'll start congregating, especially in the summer, because that lake, doesn't get a lot of snow melt, right? So it gets really toxic or nasty. A lot of fish hang out down towards the dam. So a lot of the bait fish, a lot of the baby bass will hide in the rocks of the dam. and little bluegills. And the bass will sit down there in the 5 to 8 foot range and come up and feed and go back down. And then at nighttime, you'll hear them just smashing right in those rocks. I mean, an inch from the shoreline on the dam right there. And just take a crankbait and bounce it or off the rocks, and start real shallow in inches of water, and then move a few feet deep, now 4 or 5 feet deep, and then 6 to 8 feet deep, and just fish parallel on the dam at night. Now, daytime, different story. One of my favorite lures out of Eastman's a jig. So a jig, or there's a lot of wood out there and a lot of other stuff. So weedless things work really good at Eastman. Um, Open hook things tend to get snagged up and catch a lot of fish. Hey, Gerbs, nice to see you on tonight. You can get a lot of fish on a drop shot or whatever Ned rig, Nico rig, wacky rig, Cinco, but anything that doesn't have a weed guard is going to get hung up a lot more at Eastman. So I really like to use reaction there as much as possible. Crankbaits and top water, spinner baits. And then if I have to slow roll something, but I want reaction, I'll go to a Kitech or an underspin. And then one of my favorite ways to bottom bounce in there where I don't get snagged a lot is what's called a U head or a swing head. Basically, it's just a weight that has a little U ring like melded into it, and then the hook is attached, and the hook can swing freely. And but it'll be a nice big like Texas rig, like skip gap hook that's on it. Then you can put a Cinco, you can put a crawdad, you can put a trick worm, you can put a regular worm, curly tail, cut tail, whatever floats your boat, you can put that on there, even a Kitech, and then cast it out. And what happens is it'll fall on the Ned rig because the weight will pull whatever you're throwing down, straight down, or you know, close to it. And then when it hits, because it's got a swing head, the lure will slowly fall over. And then when you pop it up, it'll do the same thing. And then the lure slowly falls over because it swings. Then when you hook a fish, it has a lot of play on it. So those fish don't come off as easy. The head isn't super heavy, so they don't throw it when they shake like a jig. You get a half ounce, 3/4 ounce jig just going when a bass shakes its head and jumps, that can pull that hook really easy. Use like a 1/4 ounce Ned or a 1/4 ounce U head. Nah, that fish is not going to toss that. So, Mike, nice to see you on tonight. Thanks for jumping on, everybody. But yeah, Eastman, a lot of wood, kind of similar to the Delta in a sense. Is that there's a lot of debris as far as wood or weeds, and so you always want to fish weedless if you can in those situations. McClure, Don Pedro, New Maloney's can be a 50-50 lake. There will be a lot of times you're going to need to use something with a weed guard or some protection so you don't snag up. But then there'll be a lot of places where it's like McClure or Pedro, and you can throw open hook, drop shot, Ned rig, and just smash them. But Don Pedro and McClure, especially McClure, mostly rock. Um, you can use any kind of lure you want there, really open hook, and you're not going to snag up nearly as much. There's a few arms and places in McClure that have wood. Piney Creek has a little bit of wood. Um, Cotton Creek has a very small amount of wood in certain areas. Even Temperance has a little bit in some areas, but that's it mostly. Sometimes when the lake's full, you'll get, and the snow melt comes in, especially after you've had a fire, you'll get a bunch of wood and debris that washes down the hills, and they'll be right there. There'll be a big wood. All the debris will back up against that wall, and then you could fish that, and there'll actually be a lot of good fish on that. But yeah, so Delta and New Maloney's, and sometimes places like Salt Springs or something like that, you can kind of fish similar. More Texas rig, more weedless stuff. Um, and in those systems, I'm either reactionary fishing, like I said, with crankbaits, top water, or I'm going to something if I'm on the bottom and I'm in contact with all that slime, with the weeds, with the sticks, with all that. I'm going to a something weedless bottom bouncing. Now at the delta too, in certain lakes and areas, you'll ever notice there's that like green slime that comes in that's just like attached to your bait no matter what you do, and it's really hard. You can't pop it off or rip it off. It just clings to it. It's almost like string. It's not grass. It's like moss. It's almost just like as if the lake had a algae bloom that just got that thick, where it's just like muck, but it's on the bottom, not floating. It's that real neon green stuff. Well, that stuff. Then, if that stuff's present in the lake, I go something usually weightless, or I stay off the bottom. Usually, I'm not interested in fighting that crap at all. So, you know, summertime too, you get a lot of different issues with bodies of water, algae blooms, high water temperatures that can push fish into a real lethargic where they go real deep, or they can become extremely active where you need to move things extremely fast. Uh, flat body crankbaits, LV 500s, deep diving crankbaits, and moving really quick top water, or excuse me, in some lakes like Don Pedro and a couple others even at summer, we catch them all over, catch them in an inch of water. But there'll be times when they just become really hard and tough to find. And if that's the case, I haven't done any yet this year, but many times, many years, and even last year on this channel, I've done it a bunch. You can catch me, you can see me and find me catching bass in anywhere from say 25 or 30 all the way out to 60 or 70 feet in the summertime, just like the winter. Real slow fishing with a Nico rig or something, and just moving out there usually. Thermocline, bait, all of that plays an importance. And each body of water is different. Some of the bigger lakes, deeper, they have a lot more range to absorb that heat, and the oxygen levels are a little better in those lakes. So fish can be in some weird places. Shallower lakes like Eastman or places like the Delta can just totally fish different. Uh, so it's pretty fun in the summertime. There's some challenges definitely that you run across. It's also tough when you're fishing in 110 or 100-degree weather. You're burning, you're sweating. It's just not fun in the summertime sometimes. That's why what a lot of guys do is they fish 4 to 6 hours. Now, with the gas prices the way they are, hell no, I'm not going to do no 4 to 6 hour fishing. So, what I like to do is I'll actually go out and fish either from like 4 or 5 o'clock till like 2 o'clock in the morning, or I'll even go out at about 10 o'clock and fish until about 10 o'clock in the morning and get most of the night and then all the sun up. And then when it starts to get a little warm, get off the water for all the ski boats and everybody get out there. Now, we can't all have the luxury of going fishing on a Monday through Friday, but also another thing about summer fishing is I highly recommend avoiding the weekends. Stay off the lake Saturday. A lot of the tournaments are, but in the summertime, due to brutal temperatures, I think tournaments can't be over 6 hours, anyways, and most of them are at night. So most summer tournaments are relatively lower, smaller turnout, and they're mostly night tournaments, but they're fun. So I love fishing at night. So this is going to be where from here on out till about probably August, mid August or so, you'll probably hear me preaching night fishing, crankbaits, top water, jigs. It's going to be over and over again. But in order to start or to not sound like a broken record, what I'm going to start doing is planning these live streams out where you guys can take me and lead me down whatever rabbit hole you guys want to with questions and all that good stuff. But I'm going to start trying to focus on a few techniques and a few different types of bodies of water, or maybe not even a few, but like one or two, and then doing the whole live stream on that. and then the rest of the live stream chatting, talking, hanging out, whatever have you. But instead of just like vomiting word diarrhea tips at you guys, which there a lot of the tips that I give you guys I consider to be actually really good, but it's like when you're hearing 2 hours of random tips, how do you absorb them, right? So I need to make sure that I'm using them in a scenario basis and that I'm focusing heavily on one tip at a time or one technique or two at a time per video. And then I can do something the next week or the next time and the next time, and we can cycle through a lot of the different stuff because there's a lot of nuances to it, like to plastic fishing, rubber fishing. Could make a whole video breaking down fishing and weeds and vegetation, how it feels when you encounter wood, rock, weed, sand, dirt bottom. Even with a cheap $50 Walmart rod, you can actually feel. You just have to learn the rod that you're using. So very expensive rod, you can almost it's like your hand is rubbing over the surface, so you can feel the fine grains of sand when you drag your lure. You can feel that when there's little pebbles and your lure's kind of just grinding over the bottom. You can feel that when you're on a hard rock and there is nothing, but you're on the bottom and there's no sand or resistance, but it's hard bottom. And when you pop, you can almost feel that thunk when your bait hits. You're on a hard bottom. When you pull into wood and it has that just stop, like almost like as if you're hitting cement, but it's off the bottom, or it has a little give. When you hit weeds, when your pole just seems to get heavier all of a sudden and it's not a fish. There's a lot of different nuances into fishing, different types of stuff. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to start working on breaking down these videos into uh, key specific tips and tricks based on specific things. So, but this will be the time and season that we'll be doing a lot of talking about top water. We're going to be doing a lot of talking about offshore fishing. We're going to be doing a lot of talking about using your graft. We're going to be doing a lot of talking about where these fish are supposed to be, where they hang out in the summer, night fishing. And then with the night fishing is going to become a lot of power fishing tips, crankbaits, spinner baits, Kitex, top water, jigs, stuff like that, how you use them at night, and instead of, like I said, just throwing a bunch of word diarrhea at you guys where it's just a bunch of tips that may be great tips, but how do you absorb them and think about them when they're just one coming out of, right field, and then all of a sudden I'm talking about spinnerbait sizes, blades, and like how the willow is a shad and the Colorado's a bluegill. Next thing you know, I'm talking about square bills. You guys get what I'm saying. So focusing on certain topics. So but I'm just excited to be back. Like I said, I'm sure, we're half an hour in. We have 6 likes. Let's see if we can get some more. But I fully expected that, being gone 2 weeks, we're gonna have a few people that are like expecting me not to be on tonight or wondering if I quit, whatever. But just wanted to let everybody know my daughter does not have cancer, thank God. That's what's been holding me up for 2 weeks, though, is I didn't really want to tell everybody. So I didn't want people feeling bad or sorry for me. I didn't want to put my daughter on blast like that. I don't do clickbait videos, so I wasn't trying to like find a catchy like name title. I wasn't going to use the 2 weeks of suffering to try to get views. Oh, woe is me. Come watch my channel. No, no, no. It's been a crazy 2 weeks just trying to hang in there mentally when you've been homeless, when my firstborn son that I was aware of, right, that I'm pretty sure I'm like, this is my kid, was literally stolen from me and put up for adoption. And then I was told it's not my kid for 20 years. And I never really forgot about him or the woman that, I had that kid with. But then my real firstborn son, when I get married and I'm all excited to start a life, dies, and then your actual firstborn that you get to hold in your own hands is your daughter, and then you find out she might have cancer. Oh, it's just like, God, no, you took in so much from me. That would be like 3 kids that I'll have lost. And I'm like, I couldn't take it. So I didn't even want to think about it. I just kind of shut down as far as like in the mind. I wouldn't have been in the right place. I would have blabbed and talked about it had I been on my live streams. And I couldn't consistently put out the live streams. My mind wasn't there. So there's just a bunch of reasons why for the last 2 weeks I put out some community posts. I put out some Facebook posts kind of giving some hints or talking about it a little bit. But I did not want to really make this a big deal or even bring it up until I knew what had happened. Maybe there would be bad news and I would have to share with you guys that, yeah, my daughter had cancer and, we're going to fight it, and ask for the community support. But I'm glad it's the opposite, and it's good news that she doesn't, and we can move on. So I'm excited, like I said, to be back here doing the live streams with you guys and gals, talking fishing, hanging out, and giving the best tips and tricks that I can. And also just having a great community that, we can share information with and a nice, cool little chat hangout for the night. That's what we always do. We have a cool little community here. Uh, Sometimes we have a lot of fun, have some crazy stories. We have some people that troll a little bit, and I love it. This channel is great. So I appreciate everybody that makes it great because it's not me that makes it great. Hey, Gerbs, appreciate the prayers. So it's not me at all. Like I'm the host of it, yeah, but without you guys, the viewers, I'm just yapping at a camera and nobody's watching or interacting. But with the interactions, with the questions and the comments, it's so cool being a kid. Grew up, I'm 40 and I grew up when there was no internet. Or when we didn't know what it was, it existed, but we had no clue what it was. We didn't know about it. We went and ball football, played in the creek and jumps and stuff like that. Had Nintendo come out when we were little, but we would still play outside. We weren't idiots. We didn't play video games all day and watch TV. Saturday morning cartoons, man. This is really great upbringing, and I'm just so blessed to have had all these fun, awesome opportunities that I've had and to be where I'm at in life from where I've been. Homeless, you know, came up poor, families just real dirt poor, been in foster home, had so much negative crap happen and to still be where I'm at and have a fun, awesome life. I couldn't ask for more. So I thank God every day. And like I said, just the awesomeness of being able to have a chat room with all these people here live where we're interacting with each other, we're sharing fishing information, tips and tricks, hanging out, cool community that does things to help the community. We do the giveaways, we do every year, try to take care of Christmas for the needy kids. There's a lot of cool fun stuff that we've done here, with the help and support of you guys and gals. Because, like I said, without you guys and gals, I wouldn't get on here or do this. I mean, I would, but then if you don't get people to jump on and hang out with you, what's the point after a while, right? So, this channel is without the viewers, and I try to make the videos entertaining. The live streams fun. Um, there's only so much you can do a live. I like to get some guests. I like to start having conversations and debates about fishing. Why, like one person might like a fluoro to, a fluoro, or why someone might use braid to fluoro, why someone might use braid to mono, why I like specifically only fluoro almost. And when I do use mono, it's for certain lures and things. And then when I do use braid, it's for certain lures and things. And the reasonings behind why I use what I use. And I know that there's no perfect way, right? It's whatever's comfortable for you. And I've adjusted my fishing accordingly to be able to fish with the line that I prefer to fish with. Although there are a lot of times where you're going to have to use something, or you really need to get proper lure, to get the lure to do the proper thing or to sit in the water right. You're going to use mono over fluoro because mono floats. So certain lures that you need to sit in a certain position in the water. If you have braid or fluoro that sinks, it can pull the lure down, especially on a long cast. So there's a lot of little nuances. So I'd love to get some guests on, um, just to do some cool new stuff. I got a lot of ideas for the channel, and I appreciate every one of you guys just helping me build this brick by brick, subscriber by subscriber. And those of you who are members too, really appreciate you guys, because it just helps, I think, show YouTube that the channel's worth pushing and putting out there, because there are people that are investing in it and helping it grow. And to you guys, very special thanks to all the subscribers and members here. If you're watching this at a later date, or you're watching it right now, you're not a subscriber, be great if you smash that subscribe button. And always, to everybody, hit that like button. Always, if you get a chance, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I love constructive criticism. How can I be better? What can I do better? What would you guys like to see out of the channel? What differences could I do? And I'm totally willing to implement those. So, um, I'm an open book. I tell things how it is, and I'm also very receptive to other people's ideas. So, with that being said, thank you guys again, as always, for joining tonight. So, my little rant's over on that. I really wanted to do a big shout out and thank everybody for being with the channel. And I'm sorry I've been gone for 2 weeks. So, we're going to make that up to you guys. And I got a lot of great content on the way. And now that this weight has been lifted off my chest and lifted off my shoulders, um, I'm excited to get out there and just put out some really good content for you guys and gals. Can hit the Delta. I'm going to be looking for new lakes to hit. The gas prices have really put a dampen in my desires and ability to go to places and other places, because I'd like to do some smallmouth fish and into these lakes like Bass Lakes, maybe trout lakes, but they hold smallmouth, they hold spotted bass, maybe even hold largemouth. But go out there and do some fishing. And there's a lot of little hidden gems that guys don't talk about, that when they go catch fish, they don't blast it on Facebook, because they don't want every Tom, Dick, and Harry showing up at their lake. So I'm not trying to blow anyone's spot up, but we're going to go do some spelunking and exploring, go looking for new, the way I said spelunking, that's cave diving. But a lake's just a hole filled with water, right? Like a cave that's filled with water. So we're gonna go exploring some holes and dropping our lures in them, seeing if we can pull some fish out. And I'm looking excited to Lake Success, a couple of others, Los Banos Creek Reservoir. Just got to make sure the boat's tip top, and we'll pass all the inspections. Keep it dry. I've been doing pretty good with that, but like certain lakes are just real hard up, like Pardee and a couple others. You don't do the boat inspection, you have even a drop of water in there that won't let you launch your boat. So, yeah, that would suck, to drive like way out to Timbuktu and then get told no. Oh, that would, and then the nearest lake be like an hour or two away. Oh, that would suck balls. Uh, Leave a comment if you guys get a chance too. Let me know what lake you'd like to see me at next, and I'll make sure to get out there and fish where you guys want to see me fishing, because that's the name of the game. We do these videos for you. So if I'm over here fishing the Delta every day and you guys are fishing the mother lode, well, I need to make sure that I'm doing a little bit of both. Or you guys all fishing the Delta and I'm over here in the mother lode every day, or vice versa. Or maybe there's a lot of guys I'm missing out on down in Southern California, or not Southern California, but let's say Fresno, Madera area. So be fishing Shaver, Millerton, Kauai. Oh, yeah. Love you too, buddy. That's my son Jonathan right there. So I was expecting dinner to be them to say dinner's ready, but I'm like, it ain't time yet. Hey Jimmy, nice to see you on tonight. I've been all right, brother. I was worried that my daughter had cancer, and got the good news that she doesn't. So, um, been 2 weeks. I haven't been really pumping out. I've done a couple of videos, but I haven't been doing these live streams. So we're back to live streaming. Gonna be doing these every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We got a meet and greet hang coming up for either July 9th or July 16th. I got to get that all hammered out. We're gonna have casting competitions and like cornhole games and raffles and prizes and stuff. And I'm gonna be cooking tri-tip and ribs and stuff. So free food. So if you just can manage to get out at the lake, there's going to be a nice hangout with a bunch of fun people. I'll have some drinks and stuff. I'll have some food and a good time. We'll talk fishing. I'm going to be out. I want to be out on the lake, 4 or 5 in the morning, fish until about 10 or so, maybe 10:30. Get off the lake and then cook, barbecue, have everything, you know, prepped and ready. I'm sure the wife and kids will probably help while I'm out on the lake fishing. And then once everything's, once I get off the lake, then I'll start cooking. We'll have some food for everybody. And if more people show up, I'll plan on having like burgers and hot dogs as backup too. Um, so that way, I like to eat good. So we'll have some tri tips and ribs, stuff like that. But if we run out, and more people show up than I plan, I'll make sure that I have food for everybody. The 9th or the 16th, I moved it and I told everybody the 9th, but then I talked to my wife and she's like, oh, the kids are going to summer camp on the 9th and I got to take them because she works. So it's like, oh, okay. So sometimes, life takes your well played out plans and just breaks them like a toddler playing with the Lego set. So, but hey, we wing it, we'll work on it, we'll get it nailed down, and it's going to be a fun event. It's probably going to be brutally hot, so you're going to want to swim, bring your swim gear. I'm going to probably take a dip in the lake or two. Uh, I'm going to bring the GoPro. I love jumping on in the summertime. I'll jump to the lake with the GoPro on, do front flips and back flips off the boat, or I'll put the GoPro on my kid's head, and then I'll have them climb up and I'll throw them and launch them. They're getting heavy, so can't do that very much anymore. But when they were like 7 or 8, we would take them, have them hold like they wouldn't hold the GoPro, but we would do this with them. Actually, I did have a GoPro, and I was gonna start a YouTube channel in early 2012, and I didn't. And I had recorded a bunch of video too, and it got frustrating because someone stole my GoPro, so it ended up missing one day, and I never got a chance to editing and putting those videos together. And I had like 5 or 6 SD cards full of awesome fishing videos, and I'm talking like the 132 gig ones filled up with good stuff too, good footage, and ended up finding one of those SD cards, and I put out a couple of videos from 2012. When I first started the channel, I put out a couple of my old stuff. So, anyways, we would take the kids and we'd launch them. And I've got one of my cameras takes, a bunch of photos, like flash really quick for like sports and stuff. And I've got a photo. We've got a set of them where my son, he's about 6 years old, I want to say, little dude, and we've got the floaties on him, and he's super psyched out, and we're tossing them and making them flip. And I threw him 10, 15 feet high in the air one time, and you can see when he's flipping, he's got his hands out like this, and he's got this look of pure bliss on his face. Gotta love it. So we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna do some swimming, barbecuing, games, raffles, prizes, fishing. So what's not to like? So if you're in the area, if you're in California and you like some good food with some good company, follow me on Facebook, Samuel Matthews. Follow me here on YouTube and just look out for the information. I'll make sure that I put it on blast. But yeah, we're gonna have a good time. So I'm looking forward to that. We're gonna have some prizes. I'm gonna have some fishing stuff to give away. It's gonna be a great little thing. We might do it every year, every other year or something. Make it a kind of a make it a tradition. We'll see how it goes. Unless don't want to overpromise. I hate overpromising. Talk a lot, blah blah blah, overpromise. Better to underpromise and overdeliver. But that'd be me out there barbecuing like 10 tri-tips and only 5 people show up. Well, I guess I got me a bunch of tri-tip meat for sandwiches and breakfast. Nothing beats if you tri-tip lover and you're barbecuing it, save a few slices the next morning, tri-tip and eggs. Ooh, steak and eggs, super bomb. So, anyways, went off a stomach. I started getting hungry. I started thinking about food. Got all happy. Tell you what, we only got 3 people on tonight. I'm letting everybody know, hey, I'm back. I'm not going nowhere now. Good news. Daughter doesn't have cancer. A lot of cool, fun things coming up. But it, I expected basically being gone for 2 weeks to come back and kind of have an empty house a little bit. So hopefully we can build the channel back up. It's like it seems like that happens. Like every time something like this will happen, it kind of sets you back a little bit. And then when you've been streaming for a few months straight, then I'm back at 20, even 30 people, 30 viewers, at one single time, hanging out, getting a couple hundred views, in that one slot time frame. Um, and hopefully we can grow this, grow the community, grow the live streams, excuse me, grow the engagement, and just reach more people and do a better job. So I'm always, like I said, leave a comment below. I'm always open to criticism. What can I do better and different? This is my first live stream after being back. So we're going to go ahead and cut it short since we only got so many people on tonight. Thank you guys and gals for hanging out. I will be back Wednesday, 7 o'clock. We're going to be doing this every night. We try to do it for 2 hours. So help let everybody know that I'm back. Share the videos. If you know anybody who's interested in fishing videos, a cool community, live streams that we can chat and talk about. And yes, this is a fishing channel, but I'm totally open to talking about certain events, certain things. This is a live stream, so you guys have the ability to steer the conversation where you want as well. That's another great thing, or at least to an extent. So I'm just excited to be back. And the great news, my daughter don't have cancer. So thanks everybody for the prayers, the warm wishes. Thanks for supporting the channel through these tough times. And we'll be back on Wednesday and we'll see you guys then. So thanks for watching. This was just kind of a preliminary, let everybody know that I'm back. Gas is so expensive. I'm only going fishing once a month. Hey, thanks for jumping on, Mike and Jimmy and everybody else or anybody who's on. Mike, I think you live over there where I'm from in Salinas area, right? Because I was born in Salinas, lived in Monterey. I don't know if you Pinto Lake. I know you can't drop a big bass boat in there, but like Lexington Reservoir on the 17, I've caught some decent spotted bass out of that lake, and I've had one really nice largemouth out of there. There's a lot of little holes out there in the Bay Area. Most of them are real anal about what you can fish in them with, but like Uvis, Calero, the Pinto Lake, man, someone caught like a 13, 14 pounder out of that. So when I was there, um, I didn't do much fishing because I was working when I was in Santa Cruz, and I was a family man. So Pinto, yep, Pinto Lake. All right, guys, you guys have a good one. We'll see you guys on Wednesday, though. Okay, so let's get more people in here, and if you guys, everybody who's watching right now, let's hope to see you on Wednesday, and we'll get some more people in. So, yeah, Pinto has some lunkers. Thanks for watching, everybody. You guys have a great week. We'll see you Wednesday, and I appreciate everybody's support. So later.